Look around your home for a moment. Do you see anything that actually does not belong to you, but you are holding on to it? You're keeping it. Might be a box of your adult children's keepsakes or an heirloom that you never really wanted, but you felt obligated to keep it. You felt guilty if you would give it away. Or maybe it's a storage bin that a friend asked you to keep. Just hold it for a while. So we don't just store objects. We don't just store things, but we store obligations too. And those obligations often say more about our boundaries than our storage systems. Hi, Kathy Weens here, Women's Empowerment and Trauma Recovery Coach. And we are on day 7 of our People Pleasing and Decluttering Challenge. And today we are talking about boundaries, people pleasing, and clutter. So for many of us women, me included, who have been raised to be helpful, agreeable, and endlessly accommodating, it is really common that we say yes when we want to actually say no. And we take things that we don't want because we don't want to disappoint anyone. We hold space, literally hold space for other people's lives while pushing our own aside. So I want to tell you a story from my life about a time when I held on to something that I didn't really want to, but I did it more out of friendship and obligation. So I have a friend who is very generous. And one day when she and another friend of ours was together, she had brought us something. So it was kind of a small kitchen gadget that she had bought for herself, and she loved it. And so she thought we would love it too. And so I looked at it and I thought, I don't know if I really need that. I don't know if I want to keep it. Will I really use that? But I said, oh, yes, thank you so much. I'll take that. Now, there were a couple of reasons that I said that. One of them was because I didn't want to hurt her feelings. She was so kind in buying this for me and bringing it, so I didn't want to disappoint her feelings and seem unkind. And also, because of my people-pleasing nature, because of trauma in my childhood, sometimes I feel like when someone gives something to me, that's a symbol of friendship, that they like me. And again, to reject that would be rejecting their love. And that's really hard for me to do because I want other people to love me. And so I took my friend's gift, even though I didn't really want it. Now, my other friend who was there, she had the same opportunity to take the gift. And she said, no, thanks. And that was all. Now, at the time, I kind of judged this friend because I thought, you're being kind of mean. That's a little rude. Our friend brought this thing for us. Why aren't you taking it like I am? But now when I look back on that, I realize that my other friend had boundaries. The reality for me was I did take the thing, and I had to think about if I wanted to use it or not. I had to find a place to store it in my house. And then I had to make a decision. Oh, do I want to give this away? What if my friend comes over? What if she asks about it and sees that it's not there? And so for me, this object took up a lot of my time and my energy and some space in my house too, because I had to store it. So, but my other friend who didn't take it, she didn't have all that. It didn't take up her time and her energy and the space in her house, simply because she said, no thanks. She had that boundary. So that's a really good lesson for me of boundaries and how to say no. And the reality is we don't owe anyone permanent space in our house. Just because they're a kind person, we don't have to give them space in our house. We can be kind and still have boundaries, like my other friend did. And we can be supportive without becoming a storage unit for everyone else's stuff or for their emotional expectations. Now, I want to tell you another story about one of my clients who had a closet full of things. And she felt like holding on to things, other people's things, made her a generous person. And she had a whole closet full of things that weren't hers, but they were her grown children's things. They were boxes of trophies and school papers and random keepsakes. And they said that they'd get them eventually, but years passed and the closet was still full. And every time she opened it, she did not feel love for her children, but she felt resentment, little anger, some pressure, and some guilt. Because she wasn't just storing their stuff, she was storing a version of herself that didn't know how to say to her grown children that this isn't mine to hold anymore. She wasn't able to make that boundary with her children. And when she finally asked them to take what they wanted, what mattered to them, and leave the rest, it wasn't because she was being selfish and didn't want to take care of their stuff anymore. It wasn't that she wasn't being a good mom, but it was because she had boundaries. And you know what? It didn't push her kids away from her. All of those things that she worried about might happen, that they might be angry with her and resent her, no. It just brought them closer together because they realized, yeah, this was their stuff to take. It wasn't hers to hold on to anymore. All right, so because it is our decluttering and people-pleasing challenge, I have an insight, an affirmation, a journal prompt, and an action step for you today. So here's the insight. It's what we've been talking about through this whole video. Clutter often reflects boundary confusion. So we're confused about what's ours and what's someone else's, but we can get clarity on that. The affirmation is I'm allowed to say no to things and to people. It's not being mean, not being selfish, not being unkind. It's having boundaries, and that's a good thing for you. And then the journal prompt is, where in my life or in my home do I feel crowded or overrun? So think about that. Do some journaling around that. Try and figure that out. And then the action step that you can take is to let go of one item that you accepted just to please someone else. All right, I hope this was helpful for you today. I'm going to put the other challenges either in other videos that will be listed on the screen or in the description below. And if you'd like to connect with me, my information about that is in the description too. Thanks so much for being here today. Bye-bye.